I'm Grayce, and this is You Have Gotten to. Can you hear me and see me? I just hope you all can see my slides when it's the time. So, this is why going green is good for business. And just to give you a little background, I have a background in education, and I got into community solar about a year ago. And when I discovered it, I was really fascinated the fact that you have these community solar farms on these flat parcels of lands with solar panels. And what happens is they partner up with the local utility, and that lets the local community access solar so they don't have to have it on their roofs. They don't have to be a homeowner, so it's for the community residents. So be it you are homeowner or a renter or some local businesses and some municipalities. So that's how I got into it. I thought it was great. So I am going to try to see if I can get my slides on here to work. I was having a little difficulty, so I appreciate your patience. And then if you have any questions at the end, please let me know. And then I'm also need to drop in the survey. So I'm scared to do that, but I have to do that with me having trouble. So give me a little love as far as the survey, please. And let me just drop that into okay, into the chat so everyone can see it. So this is survey. I hope I got the whole survey there. Where they want you definitely to have a survey, and I want you to have a survey too. Just want you to be a little understanding, please. Okay, so everyone can see me and hear me right now. It's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is try to do my screen share so you all can see my slides, and hopefully we can get started there. Okay. Okay, unfortunately, I'm having a little issue as far as the slides, as far as showing them full screen that you normally would like to do. Okay. Okay, can you all see my slides? Because I want to make sure it's not just me. Can you all, if you can put in the box. Yeah, I'm trying to do presentation mode. That was the problem. Because when I did presentation mode, let's see. All right, can you all see the full screen? I don't think they're showing in full screen yet. All right. Did they come up in button right icon next to the sliding scale? Okay, let me try that. Thank you, Manny. Appreciate that. Okay. Is that full screen for you all? I just have to come back in and out so just to see whether it is or not. Okay. All right. So unfortunately, when I hit full screen, I lose you all, so I can't see you all. But I'll go ahead as long as you all can hear me. So I'm not just talking, and just make sure that you all can see and hear me. So let me try that once more. So I hope this means that you all can see my slides and see them full screen. If you'll just tell me yes or no, and then I just might have to show them small screen, unfortunately. So I'll just pop in one more time. You said it's okay? Okay. All right. Well, here, I guess just be a little small. It doesn't look good. Sorry about that. Oh, let me try one more thing. Let's see. Okay. Sorry about the technical difficulties. And I'm not, oops, that's not it. That's certainly not helping. Okay. All right, so I'm used to Zoom. Once you get used to one thing, it's another thing. Okay, so let me just go ahead and start the presentation. Okay, right button next to the sliding scale. Okay, I did hit the right button next to the sliding scale for the presentation. All right. When I do that last question before I'm starting, I'm going to have to go whichever way it does. Do you all see it full screen now? When I click that, just let me know yes or no if you see it full screen. And that's the last time I'll keep bugging you all, asking you all that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to just go ahead the way it is. Thanks, Manny. So please bear with me. I'm sorry. I would like for you all to see my pictures and everything. Okay. So why going green is good for business? Do you love Mother Earth? Mother Earth needs us now, and our planet is changing. What's going on with our planet? And I know you have to pretty much be hiding under a rock to not be aware of climate changes and all the things that are going on with our planet, all the crazy things that are going on with the planet. And some people want to deny it, but there are a lot of issues going on. And unfortunately, the change is not necessarily for the best. Now, what are community solar farms? They're small-scale solar plants known as community solar farms that produce a portion of electricity for nearby neighborhoods and residents and businesses. Everyone who takes part in the program shares the power. So basically, you have a parcel of land. It could be farmland or any uh, empty land where they put solar panels on the land, partner up with the local utility, and the local residents are able to receive a portion of their electricity through the solar farms, meaning it's clean energy. And what's wonderful about the programs is they're free. So residents are able to save on their electric bill and then also to reduce carbon emissions into their environment. And as you can see, these are some of the solar farms. Some of them also have multiple uses where they also put sometimes sheep or goats on the solar farm and they can graze and kind of keep the land tailored, or I guess you would kind of say. So it has multiple uses and sometimes crops. So it's not just producing energy, but also doing traditional things. Now, why businesses need to partner with community solar farms? So regardless of the physical characteristics or ownership status of a person's home or company, community solar offers equal access to the financial and environmental benefits of solar energy. So what does that mean? Basically, when a company partners with a community solar farm, the company does not incur any kind of cost, but what happens is almost like the company becomes a promoter of that local solar farm. So the employees, and letting employees know this is a benefit in the community that you can take advantage of. And basically they would sign up for that particular local solar farm. It's usually free to sign up. And again, they will be reducing some of their electric bill, get a discount on their electric bill, and then also reducing carbon emissions in their environment. The company I'm with, I won't do a self promo, but I'll tell you at the end, they also do an added bonus with that. Now, why reducing carbon emissions should be important for everyone? Well, the environment is being affected, so we definitely know that. I'm sorry, one thing I wanted to say. Why carbon emissions are a good idea, should be important for everyone. The environment is being affected. We definitely know that with tropical storms, wildfires, rising temperatures, this unusual climate changes, and because of the CO2 emissions, growth patterns of crops, sea levels rising, and then we know wildlife is being affected. And it goes with as far as different ecosystems, like with plants. Unfortunately, with some plants not blooming or blooming too early, you have migratory birds who are coming to, you know, feast on the different plants and a different life there, and that can lead to starvation or ultimately extinction. And then we definitely seen the commercials about the polar bears and the melting ice caps. Now, with human health being impacted, especially with children in unhygienic areas, and drought has, different parts of the world, and not just different parts of the world. Out west, we see that really happening, and drought with our food crops affecting safe drinking water. And when we look out west, we can see how they really are being affected, how water is becoming a central issue there. I grew up around the Great Lakes, so we were always blessed with an abundance of water. But unfortunately, the bad part was I think people took it for granted because there's so much pollution, unfortunately. But here on the East Coast, excuse me, seem to be more blessed as far as with water, and it's not as critical as far as drought as the West Coast. Now, the air quality index is also getting bad as far as increasing respiratory issues and asthma and bronchitis and allergies for people. Now, economic growth, you say, how does that affect, how is carbon emissions affecting that? Because you have countries, most countries that depend on that as far as don't have multiple industries or depend on their land for agricultural and natural resources. So with that, you're having lower crop yields, more drought, so less places where crops can actually grow. And also, like, for example, in New England, as far as the lobster industry, they're threatened due to the higher decreasing rates of catching lobsters, and that's affecting different economies, especially in Maine. Now, some common objections to solar farms, some say, and this sounds kind of petty, but solar farms look bad. So you look at those and you tell me beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So do these look bad to you? I know I did choose the more attractive pictures out of all of them. So I gave you the best pictures. And then some say farmland is being lost. But as I said, some solar farms, because a lot of times it's the farmers who lease the land to the solar developers and finding multiple uses. So you can not only have solar panels on the land, but also sheep to graze the land. So you have multiple uses and also using it sometimes for different crops. Now, the local economy will be negatively affected by solar farms. It's one of the naysayers, the cons of solar farms. So the response to this question I put on the next slide. How do community solar farms impact your local community? So solar developers pay taxes that will be paid to the community where the solar farms reside, and solar farms might actually be advantageous to that area because it's bringing in more tax revenue. And not only that, helping the environment to clean up, and then helping people as far as reducing their electric bills too. Now, how are community solar farms developed? Locating acreage big enough for a community solar farm is the first step. So to locate where you have some vast open land. It could, usually a time is a farm or just an empty parcel of land, and a lot of time it's the farmer who's the landowner. And then for the developer to engage in a solar project, there must be significant enough local trading or regional interest in solar energy. So it does have to have a push for people to be interested in that, because it takes a lot for actual solar farm to come online. It's a lot to do with legislation on the on the state level, and then also on the local level, and then also as far as coming together with the local utility, because sometimes there is pushback, because if you're a local utility, you're used to doing business for for decades a certain way. And so for solar to come in and to say, well, let's have a portion of this as far as clean energy, as far as the old Again, you see at the old school way of doing things, sometimes people are resistant to doing that. So there can be pushback. And a lot of times, just to get everyone a meeting of the minds takes time. And the company running the solar facility frequently recognizes the need and works actively to build a community solar farm to supply locals with energy, clean green energy, which is the end goal. But it takes time to bring that on. Now, the role of the landowner, a block of land is often leased by the landowner, who a lot of times is a farmer, to the developer for the project, and farmers or ranchers can remove marginally productive property from their operations while continuing to make money by leasing it to a solar developer. And the typical lease is about 30 years, which corresponds to the average lifespan of a community solar farm, but we haven't gotten that far as far as solar farms that have been in development for that long. Now, you do have alternative uses, as I spoke before, of solar farms. Farmers and ranchers may occasionally use the area beneath the solar panels for their own purposes when the soil is still fruitful. For instance, you might be able to grow hand selected specialty crops like tomatoes, peppers, or herbs close to solar panels, and sheep are useful for maintaining the field and won't harm the panels, so ranchers might let them graze there. So sheep or goat may may graze on that particular land. Now, why are community solar farms a good idea? They say they're environmentally friendly. The solar panels capture the sun's energy and it generates electricity to the local grids, which goes to your local utility company, and they in turn are the ones who send the electricity to the local residents. Now, the solar panels don't release any harmful atmospheric emissions, and it's less fossil fuels burned. Now, sustainable as far as that. Electricity uses want to know if their electricity is going to be sustainable, it's if it's going to continue. So one thing about the sun is there, and usually the sun is there almost daily. Sometimes if it's a cloudy day, on exception, or maybe a rainy day. But think about it in comparison to fossil fuels, which may take centuries and centuries, decades, hundreds of years, hundreds of thousands of years to replenish. Whereas with solar farms and the sun, you have the sun coming out almost daily to say, here I am. I'm supplying energy for you every day. Now it's quiet. Pumps, as far as different pumps make noise, so do drills as far as those sources of energy. But fossil fuel production generally is loud. However, solar farms, the panels might emit a low hum. So I'm not saying it's totally 100% quiet, but it might emit a low hum if you're close by. Now, there's also low maintenance solar farms, not farms in the traditional sense. We just call them farms because there is like a farm of solar panels. The animals or crops, so it's like I said, no traditional farming in the sense of animals or crops. But once in place, there's little maintenance that needs to be done. You may have semi-annual cleaning. So that's pretty much it as far as maintenance. Now, where are community solar farms located? This map, I was trying to find a more updated map. So what I found was 2019. So I know it's a couple of years old. But these are the top 10 states, or were the top 10 states as far as with solar farms. And it's not surprising that California's at the top. But what I was surprised to see that Florida was number 5. Isn't Florida called the Sunshine State? So I think it has a lot to do with legislation as far as which states were more open as far as bringing solar farms. This is my speculations. I'm not sure if I'm exactly 100% accurate. I'll say that because that is my opinion. But as far as solar farms, as far as opening and being available, it also has to do with land usage, land available. But Also, how open they are to it. This whole concept of a solar farm is new. Let's face it. So bringing in something that's new, sometimes people are resistant. And as I said, the local utility has to also get on board. So bringing all these different entities together can be a challenge. And there are definitely more than 10 states who do have solar farms. The company I work for, Common Energy, most of ours are on the East Coast, but just the same. But as I said, there are definitely more than 10 states, so a lot of them are coming on board. Excuse me. And this number is definitely rapidly changing. Now, in Minnesota, the company I work for, I'll just let you know. So this is maybe self-serving, but Common Energy has community solar farms, just so you know, in these particular counties. And I know it's probably small and hard for you all to see, but you see it's in the middle counties. Unfortunately, it's not available in Minneapolis and not available in St. Paul. It's in the central area. And then in Minnesota, there's this weird kind of rule, I will say it, where it has to be wherever the county is, where the solar farm is, it's only available to those surrounding areas. A lot of times with utility companies, wherever the utility company is, it's available to all of their customers. But this one in Minnesota, the rule is kind of different. And just to let you know, as far as the list of the different counties where my particular company, I'll just say, has solar farms. So if anybody happens to be interested, it's Grant, Douglas, Stevens, Pope, Stern, Swift, Chippewa, and this one, please excuse me for the mispronunciation, Candayobi, Meeker, Wright, Yellow Medicine, Renville, McLeod, Carver, Redwood, Brown, Sibley, and Nicolette. Now, if anyone has any questions, this went a lot quicker than I thought it was, but I am open for questions. And then also, this is my contact information. I will come back to that. So if anybody has any questions, if you happen to be in Minnesota and interested in the solar farms or live in one of those counties, I'll be more than glad to speak with you. But also, they did want me to ask you to please complete the survey or the QR code or the link. And I did put the link there in the chat box. Right now, I'm sorry, all I do see is the PowerPoint screen so that I can read it for myself. So I will be coming back to the where you are, to your room there. So I wanted to know if you all have any questions. Okay, I have a question. How is winter performance of solar farms? That's a really good question, Manny, as far as how is winter performance, because you do have a little less sun in the winter, so I'm sure percentage-wise it might be a little less as far as the wattage. I'm not exactly sure as far as that, so it might be that you're not reducing as much carbon emissions or less. Your reduction of carbon emission is probably less than it normally would be, but asking that question is really good. How winter performance of solar farms, and so it's definitely different when you say winter. For example, if you're in California or in Florida, where they pretty much have sunshine the whole year round, and they don't have to worry about snow. Oh, and that's a big one too. So when you have the snow has to melt in order for the sun to get to the panel. So even thinking about that, that's the issue there. So if it's a really bad snowstorm, say in the Northeast, then at that particular time, you're not getting that daily use of the solar panels. So you do bring up a very interesting question. So thank you for that, Manny. I hadn't thought about the winter performance. So that's really good. Does anyone else have any questions? And again, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to give you full screen as far as the actual presentation. I'm really happy that you are here. I see we're a really small group. So does anyone else have something to say? And I did say one thing I was going to tell you about the company that I do happen to work for as far as Common Energy. Let me just go into the PowerPoint just to go back for one thing. As I said, I do happen to be a consultant for Common Energy. I guess this is a plug, I'll be honest. But one of the things that happens as far as if a company does decide to partner with us, one of the great things that Common Energy does is that everyone who enrolls definitely is free to enroll. They will be saving on their electric bill, and then also reducing carbon emissions into their local environment, helping to do that. But then also for everyone who does enroll, that Carbon Energy also does make a contribution to whatever nonprofit or charity that company would like to donate to. So every time somebody enrolls, not only do they save personally as far as on their electric bill and reducing carbon emissions, the company also, Common Energy also gives a donation to a local charity or a nonprofit, which is, I think, is a wonderful benefit. So, like I said, maybe that's self-serving because it is the company I happen to do business with. But I just wanted to let you know that. Okay, are there any other questions? Anyone else for any other questions there that anyone has? And please, as I said, I know I had technical difficulties, and I did put it into the chat to please do the survey. Be gentle. Please do the survey. And I appreciate you all being here. And if you need to contact me, you can see I'm at savetheplanet1224@gmail.com. Or you can also go on the website, which is www.commonenergy.us/team/gnance. On that site, if you go to that site, that also will show you, and I guess we do have time. I can bring it up to show you that. Let me go to that site just to show you, since I'm sharing the screen anyhow, and we do have time, what you can do on that actual site. When you go to the site and it says check availability, so you can actually click on the here, and then you can go and put in your zip code, and then with your zip code, it will tell you to bring up, it will show your local utility. Here in this case, it will be Excel, and it will show you whether or not you have a solar farm in the area. And this is specifically for the company I work for, which is Common Energy. So you can see whether or not it's worth it for us, if you even need to contact me or not. Okay. And it just shows you what's available there. Okay. And then here, since we do have time, here just to show you as far as how it works. And it's talking about the program and how they've saved energy. It's talking about sign up and checking your availability, and you connect with your local utility company. And this is just talking about the sign up process. So regardless of what company, if you chose it, so it does not just have to be Common Energy, it could be any company. And then payment information in general, and how much you would save, for example. And in different states, you have different savings. So some states, it might be you're saving 5% on your electric bill. Other states, it might be 10%. Another state, it might be 15%. In New Jersey, they have a special program for specifically for low income residents, that they would save 25% on their electric bill. And they specifically put that into legislation, thinking about the low income residents, saying that they should save more on their electric bill. And that's for people who live in certain counties, according, and also on census tracts. So it really does vary, because in Oregon, I know they have they save 5% on their electric bill. In Maine, it's 15% on their electric bill. Usually it's around 10%, some places, so 5-10% savings on your electric bill. And then for some people, it's more a matter of reducing the grid as far as reducing what you Okay, reducing what you um your your usage there in common energy. So again, if there's no more questions, again, please thank you so much for attending. And I will close out right now. It's a little early. So I said 45 minutes, so it's 5:35. But I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for watching. And you all have a great day. And just think about every day, do you love Mother Earth? So what are you doing today for Mother Earth? Thank you so much. And I'm Grayce Nance signing out. Bye bye.